Well, since Cronulla won the 2016, has the CEO of Club Menangle, Bruce Christison, smiled as much. And he has good reason to. After 2 frustrating years, the Inter-Dominion Carnival has reached its peak. 2 wonderful nights of racing here at Club Menangle, both Friday and Saturday night. Joining me now is a very delighted and relieved CEO, Mr. Bruce Christison. Well, Bruce, that would be a pretty fair summation. You're absolutely delighted and relieved now that the Inter-Dominion Carnival is coming to its climax.
Yeah, and we had a great barrier draw function last night, and with a very interesting barrier draw out of that as well. And as you say, now the focus turns back to the racing, but we've certainly got our work cut out with back-to-back meetings. So all the staff have got a lot to do, but it's fantastic to have so many people attending the course over this week.
Bruce, there was some talk in the racing industry that running the heats at various tracks was going to hinder the Inter-Dominion Carnival. It's been totally the opposite. It's been well received at Bathurst and Newcastle, and of course here at Club Menangle. It has been a huge success.
Oh, definitely, and it really is. We've said it a number of times. It's a New South Wales Inter-Dominion. It's not the Menangle Inter-Dominion, and it's really important that we open up to different audiences. And by taking it to firstly Bathurst and then to Newcastle, we saw fantastic crowds, and the passion of the people there. Some of those people at both venues, especially Bathurst, very emotional actually about having the Inter-Dominion there in their city, such a famous city for harness racing, but to actually have the Inter-Dominion there, and as I say, quite emotional about it. And we're really proud that we can be involved to do that.
Of course, A.D. Turnbull, the unofficial Lord Mayor of Bathurst, winning 2 Inter-Dominions, 7-3, 74 with a great Hyundai Grattan, and Smooth Saturn winning for Steve Turnbull in 2002. So there is a connection.
Oh, very much so. And we, as I said, talking to some of those locals that have been through those eras, they almost found it hard to believe that the Inter-Dominion was actually there in their city, and the racing was great. And it takes a different style of racing. I mean, obviously we mix up distances, but very different dynamics, of course, at these 3 different tracks. So at the barrier draw last night, quite a few of the participants said that they were sort of sceptical, but are now converted after sort of being through the atmosphere and the actual different dynamics of the racing.
Apart from the Inter-Dominion for both the trotters and the pacers, Bruce, and the consolation for the pacers, a very strong and intriguing support card.
Oh, definitely. Well, it's great to have a race like the carousel final on there, and we're talking tradition. I mean, that's a beautiful mix to have a race of that tradition in there as well. Then, of course, in addition to great racing, we have the JC Caffin Indigenous Drivers Race, sort of now been with us for over a decade, and we also have the young drivers showing their wares as well. So it's a great cross section. We've also got the mini trots into Dominion as well. So three races there. So we're talking about the traditions of say somebody like an A.D. Turnbull and there in Bathurst, and then we come to here and we have the traditions of the Inter-Dominion and Carousel series, and then mix that up with the young ones coming through. I think it's a fantastic blend.
Of course, what is pleasing, Bruce, particularly for you and the club, is the meeting has been well received.
Oh, very much so, and it's just so great to have people back. So to have people back across all those different tracks and now back here again, it's a great time of year now with so many Christmas parties and things happening, and the way it's been received, we're very, very pleased.
Apart from all the action on the track, Bruce, the club also has a lot planned off.
Yeah, so as we mentioned before, we kick off on Friday night, and it's great to have the night markets back here for the first time since the latest COVID lockdown. So that's great. So that brings, again, we talk about introducing new audiences to harness racing, and those night markets bring thousands of people along to the track, and most of those interact with the harness racing, and that may not be their reason initially for coming, but they love to sit out there, have their food and watch the races. So that's great, and that's on the Friday night. Then, of course, Saturday night, we have a real combination of things. It's free entry, which is really important, and we believe that will bring families along to the grand final. So we've certainly got activities for the kids with pony rides and jumping castles and petting zoos and those sorts of things for the kids to keep them entertained. But there's also, of course, so much action going on the track and with the other items going around, as we mentioned before, the Indigenous Drivers Race, the young drivers, in addition, of course, to the 2 Inter-Dominion grand finals and the consolation.
And of course, both nights, Friday and Saturday night, a special guest, Santa Claus, who absolutely loved his first visit to Club Menangle here last Saturday.
Yes, he seems to love it each year, but he certainly particularly loved it last week. So it's great to have Santa back, and of course, with it being this time of year, there will be a very Christmas theme around the Inter-Dominion here at the track. So Santa will be back with his elf again, and they'll be handing out goodies to the good children and even the older ones as well.
Apart from Club Menangle, Bruce must be also delighted now that after numerous attempts to get the Country Club Menangle up and running for an extended period, that is now happening, and with rave reviews.
Yeah, it's been a really strong reopening for us, and proving to be very popular again with the Christmas parties, and it's great. It gives us the opportunities for Christmas parties on race nights here at the track, and that's been really strong these last few weeks, but also right throughout the week at the Country Club, and that's where the barrier draw was conducted last night, was at the Country Club, and the comments from many of the people in the room that from interstate, particularly the Victorians who hadn't been there before, absolutely blown away by the venue. So it's an outstanding venue. The food is fantastic, and I'm sure the after party after Inter-Dominion on Saturday night will be fantastic as well.
As I said at the top of the interview, Bruce, it's been a very difficult past 2 years. The smile's back, the relief is now well and truly kicked in. You must be pleased with the way everything's unfolded.
Oh, definitely, and just sort of looking forward now to Saturday. I mean, what we do best is racing, and so we love the events around it and things, but what we do best is racing. So really looking forward now to Friday night into Saturday night, and yeah, just bring on the racing.
Good to see that smile return.
Thanks, Mick.